time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So this was spoken by Lord Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, mentioned in all the Vedic literatures, the most ancient literatures available on the planet. And he's also considered as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by many great acharyas, like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, and recently great acharyas like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. In our altar, you see in the small photographs of those great acharyas. And very recently, Srila Prabhupada, they all accepted him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he is speaking these words. So just to make it very authoritative. So what is he saying? Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. Before we try to understand this, let us say this. Let us try to understand this. Why do we even need to gain any knowledge about anything at all? The primary cause of all our sufferings in this world is ignorance. We think somebody else is doing something to me, that's why I'm suffering. Or I don't have much money, that's why I'm suffering. Or so many things. But the real cause of all our sufferings or all our unhappiness in this world is ignorance. There's nothing else. Ignorance. For example, first of all, many people may not even agree that they are suffering. There is a real problem. Right? There are two different potencies of illusion or God's external energy. One is called Prakshepatmika Shakti. That is a Sanskrit word. Prakshepatmika Shakti means pulling down energy. We can understand it like that. Pulling down energy. Alright? Please try to remember this. And you will get a prize if you remember it and tell me later on. Just kidding. That is one. Prakshepatmika Shakti or pulling down energy. The second is Avaranatmika Shakti or covering energy. These are the two potencies of Lord's external energy. And if somebody tries to come to the temple or someone tries to understand, like, who am I? What happens after death? Or who is God? Is there any God at all? Then the next, your friend comes up and say, hey, just don't talk all this nonsense. Just let us go watch a movie. Let us go smoke a joint. Just smoke a joint. No, you can forget everything. This is called pulling down energy. Maya tries to pull you down from becoming knowledgeable or trying to gain real knowledge. And the other is called, anyone? Covering energy. Avaranatmika Shakti. Krishna also says that in the 3rd chapter. Avritam Jnanametin. It is covering energy. For example, a person, he has cancer. He's in the hospital. He's about to die in like 3 months or so. Let us just an example. And he already had his heart transplant done. In so many surgeries. He has diabetes. He cannot even have our Sunday feast. Diabetes. He cannot even have a proper meal. And his chips in the knees are taken out and some other artificial chips are planted. And if you go and meet him and say, hey, how are you? What would he say? Hey, I'm doing so great. Although he's suffering so much, he thinks that he's really happy. Or for example, we don't like to eat, we like to eat very delicious things. But some animals eat very nasty things that we do not even like to see or touch, for that matter, right? Some of the animals eat very nasty things. For example, pigs or hogs, they eat very nasty things. They eat stool. We think whenever we see that, we get really disgusted with that, right? At the very sight. But what do you think the animals are thinking? Do you think they are also disgusted with it? No. If they are disgusted with it, why would they eat it? They like it very much. Although they are in a very, very horrible condition of life, they are still thinking that they are very happy. Because a human being has a developed consciousness, has a higher intelligence, he thinks what is good for me, what is healthy, or what is good food to eat, and what is not good food to eat. The animals, such animals, because of lower consciousness, they eat abominable stuff and still think they are enjoying life. That is called covering energy. The Maya or the illusion has this covering potency. Nobody really knows that they are really suffering. Those who agree, those who accept this fact that we are suffering should be considered a very intelligent person. Although everybody is suffering, whether you accept it or not, everybody is suffering. How can you say that? You may ask me a question. Krishna says, when something is repeated twice, then there must be a lot of emphasis on that. Or if you just say once, we may say that, you must have spoken it by mistake or unknowingly. But when something is repeated twice or again and again in the literatures, that means that is a very important point to consider. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita about this place, Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. Dukkha in Sanskrit means, what is dukkha in Sanskrit? Suffering. Okay, dukkha or unhappiness. And alayam means the place. This place is full of sufferings, Krishna says. And next he says, well, there must be some suffering, I'll try to manage it. But Krishna says, ashashvatam. It is impermanent, temporary. As soon as you try to make a solution to your problem, the problem itself might do not exist, and you will have a different problem. And as soon as you try to find a solution for the next problem, there will be so many other problems. There is no solution to that. And he says again, he repeats that in different words. Anityam asukam lokam, in the same Bhagavad Gita. So he says it in a different words. Asukam, dukkha. What is the opposite word of dukkha? Sukha. Asukha means dukkha, the same word. So he said, asukam anityam lokam. This world there is no happiness in this world, and it is not permanent. That's what Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Twice. And in Bhagavatam, and of course not just twice, he repeats that. He delivers the same message in different forms again and again and again in Bhagavad Gita. And in Bhagavatam and other Vedic literatures, the same thing is repeatedly said. And that is a fact also. Well, somebody may say, everything is going on nice for me. I have a lot of money. I have good health. Everything is okay for me. All my relationships are nice. I eat very nice food every day. What do you say about that? Illusion. Well, and you also might say, well, I'm smiling, look at me. For example, have you ever seen, generally the doctors or in the police, sometimes they give electric shock to some people for medical purposes or for punishing somebody. And when electric shock is given to a person, he makes different expressions. Have you seen that in movies or somewhere else?
Yeah.
If electric shock is given, he makes some weird expressions. Sometimes it appears like he's smiling. Look at him, he's smiling. But actually he's suffering so much of pain that sometimes it, artificially it's called plastic smile. Or artificially it appears to be smiling. But nobody in this world can say, I'm all happy, I don't have any problem at all. And that is a guarantee by Krishna. There's a guarantee from Krishna. Everybody is suffering. So, what is the solution to such suffering? Or why are we suffering? The real cause, as we discussed earlier, that the real cause of all our sufferings is ignorance. That is the first step. We can go to so many motivational speakers, they may say, oh, don't worry, try it hard, try it again, or try it in a different way, this and that. They can give you so many things. But ultimately, unless and until we have knowledge about who we are or how things are working really, actually, factually, there is no solution to it. For example, I'll give you one example. For example, if there is a person, a child on the street, when you talk to him, he says he's an orphan, he doesn't really have nobody takes care of him, he doesn't have any money, he doesn't have any food, he's a teenager, he doesn't have any food to eat, he doesn't have a place to stay. But then a person comes to him and says, hey, I have seen your picture. Actually, I think you have forgotten. You are the son of that rich man who is living in the palace there. No, I have seen you many times. It looks like you are out of your mind. You have taken too many joints or something and you forgot. Then, the theoretical knowledge itself gives so much happiness to that person, isn't it? If a person has forgotten that he is actually a child or son of a rich man and he's unnecessarily suffering on the street, and if a person goes to him and tells him his real situation, real knowledge, that you're not a homeless person, you're the son of the richest person in the town, and your father is happily living in the palace and he's searching for you. Unfortunately, he missed you and you forgot that you're the son of that rich person. Even the theoretical knowledge itself will give so much happiness. And every step he makes towards that palace of his father, every step he relishes. And even the path becomes so much happiness. Because that knowledge itself gives so much happiness. Is that true or not?
Yes.
As soon as the homeless person understands for sure that he is the son of the richest person in the town, that's it. All his problems are at once gone. Is that true or not? Very soon he has confidence. Very soon I am walking and I will reach the palace of my father. And all these problems, till now I have been thinking that I don't have a house to stay. Now I have a palace. Still now I am thinking that I don't have any parents to take care of me. Now I have the richest father in the town, man. So he becomes happy, even theoretical knowledge. It's only theory. He has not even gone to the palace yet. Is it true? Do you all agree with me? So knowledge liberates and ignorance binds us to this world. So that's why. And this most ancient literature gives us this knowledge who we actually are. If we keep on thinking that we are somebody who we are actually not, how can we be happy? You are the richest person you are the son of the richest person, but unfortunately or unnecessarily you have been thinking that you are a homeless person. You are thinking that you are someone who you are not. So when you know your actual position, you become happy. And Krishna says here, who we actually are. We are not these bodies, Krishna says. We have had so many lives prior to this life, so many births. Now, when we say this, the next question that should come up is, like we were discussing, you remember? We already have had so many births, millions and trillions of lifetimes. Well, if you really think so, do you remember any, even a small incident of any of your previous lives? Any small incident? Do you all agree, first of all, you already had so many lives?
I do.
How can you agree, sir? Do you remember anything at all? Well, it should not be a blind belief. It's not that this is spoken in the scriptures, we have to believe it. Why? Why do you believe that we have already had so many lives? Well, the argument one may give is that, well, I do not remember anything at all. How can I believe this? Well, if that is a good argument, then the counter argument would be, do you remember everything at all, first of all? So you're saying that you do not remember that you have had any previous life, but do you remember? Are you relying on your memory? Do you remember anything that you did when you were like 1 year old? Do you remember at all that you were 1 year old at one point of time? No, not even one incident? What? Sir, do you remember, sir? Not at all. That means you never existed. You were never 1 year old. You just came out as like 25 years, 30 years old. Right? Is that true? No, just because you do not remember something, you cannot claim that nothing happened. You cannot rely on your memory. Right? Yeah, but still, that is when I told this, when I gave this answer to one of our friends, we were having this discussion yesterday. He said, you're just juggling the words. Here and there, you're just juggling around the words and trying to convince me. That is a good discussion, actually. I appreciated it. Yes, that is good. Okay, that is a disproof that you cannot rely on your memory, but how can we even really believe that we have already had so many lives? Anybody? You want to give me? Well, you all have been studying Bhagavad Gita, you already know that we already had so many lives. How can you convince me? Or first of all, how are you convinced? Yes, sir.
I just always felt like it.
Oh, felt like it. I don't feel like it.
And also I've met people who've told me about their past lives. Like this one lady who came here, she told me that she remembers how she left her body and that.
How do you know she is not bluffing?
Why would she just come here and start lying to me for no reason?
Well, even without looking into our past life or our future lives, if we analyze only our present life, let us take only our present life, which is right in front of our eyes. We can feel, we can experience our present life, for sure, right? We all are experiencing. So, just like when you are 1 year old, if you are shown a photograph of your body when you are only 1 year old, you cannot even recognize it. Actually, when in the mother's womb, some of our swamis, they have researched and they have written so many articles. So what they found is that in the mother's womb, in the first month, the embryo is in the size of a pea, very very small. PEA, pea. Small, ball shaped. You cannot even tell if it is a human embryo or a horse embryo or a dog's embryo. All the embryos look exactly the same. And even only after 5 or 6 months, the human embryo takes the form of a human being, the horse embryo takes the form of a horse, the dog's embryo takes the form of a dog. And then we can distinguish which is what, after maybe 5 or 6 months. But even after birth, or like in 7th month or 8th month, most of the human embryos look all the same. And even after birth, they almost look all the same actually, most of the babies. But if you are shown a photograph of your own body, like 25 years or 30 years, or when you are only 6 months or 1 year old, I can bet you cannot even recognize that you are that person. But are you that person? Are you the same person or not? Are you the
I
same?
am.
You are the same person.
Yeah.
It's not in the opposite. You are the same person. For sure. Although you cannot even recognize your own bodies, not in the previous life or in the future life, in the same lifetime. Is that true or not?
Yes.
You all agree? Your
Yeah.
mother has to tell you, hey, this is you.
True.
But you cannot even recognize it. So that is a proof that a person is remaining the same. The bodies are changed so much so that you cannot even recognize them. This is the proof of existence of the soul. And don't think that, there's a good brain substance. You've got a proof. This proof is given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. This, in the next verse, you want to put up the next verse? Because we will come back to this verse. There's so much to discuss if we have time. Okay, the next verse says, Dehinosmin yada dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tada dehantara praptir dhiras tatra nam muhyati. He says that as a soul passes on from boyhood to youth to old age, similarly at the time of death, the soul passes on to another body. And a sober person, it is very interesting. Dhira, the word used is dhira in the last line. Is it there? Yeah. The word dhira is translated as a sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Or, in other words, only a sober person can understand he is not this body, but the spirit soul inside. One who does not even understand this, what do you call him then, according to this verse? Is not even sober.
Intoxicated.
Yeah, intoxicated, we can say illusion. That is the greatest illusion of this world. That we have been thinking that we are someone who we are actually not. For example, why do I say they are not sober? We are not sober. We are not considered sober if you do not have this knowledge. Why? I'll tell you one example. You tell me if my statement is correct or not, or this statement is correct or not, right? If a person is sitting in a car and he's thinking somehow that he's a car, okay, and I went to him and asked, sir, did you have your breakfast? And the first time he replied to me that yes, I filled up the tank. Okay. But I thought he must not have heard my question properly. Maybe I went close to him and said, sir, no, not about the tank. Did you have any breakfast today? And he again said, yes, I put in like 25 liters of gasoline. I think, oh my God, is he crazy or not? So, and again, the third time you asked him, no, not about the gas or the car. I'm asking you, sir, did you have your breakfast? And I also, just to make sure, asked him, do you understand what I asked? And he said, yes, you're asking me if I have had my breakfast. And I said, yes, I have put some petrol in my tank, in the car. And the next moment, what is the first impression of such a person? If somebody says this, what is the first impression of such a person? Crazy, right? And the next moment he says, okay, come sit in my car, we'll go for a ride. Will you sit in his car? No. Nobody can sit in his car because it sounds crazy. Not a sober person, right? So similarly, we also have been thinking out of ignorance that we are these bodies. And in a mathematical equation, if you make the first step wrong, you can even if you are a great PhD scholar in mathematics, you can keep on doing the mathematics equation, you can never find the solution because the first step itself is wrong, right? Sometimes the mathematical problems are very, very lengthy. You have to write the solution in so many pages. But unfortunately, you are wrong at the first step, and then you are showing your expertise as a mathematical PhD scholar in the rest of the equations. You'll never find a solution. Is that correct or not? So similarly, as soon as we do not accept this fact, or we do not understand this truth, no matter what we do, we can never be happy in this world. That is guaranteed, not by me, by Krishna himself. If I give a guarantee, it's useless. Who am I to give any guarantee at all? But if Krishna gives a guarantee, at least you should consider it, because he is the creator of this world. For example, who gives you guarantee? If you buy a TV or a car, who gives you guarantee? You buy a car from Honda Civic or something, and I give you a guarantee. Sir, this car will work for 10 years. What is the first reply?
The what?
What is the first thing you would say to me?
Who do you work for?
Who are you? First of all, give me a guarantee. But who gives a guarantee?
Manufacturer.
The manufacturer gives the guarantee, or he knows everything about the car, right? So similarly, God or Krishna, who has created this world, is giving a guarantee. Unless and until you are in proper knowledge, there is no question of happiness at all. So Krishna says, Dukhalayam Ashashvatam, or this world is full of miseries and impermanent. But for a devotee, Vishwam Sarvam Sukhayate. For a devotee who is in right knowledge, who has accepted this truth, even though he is living in this place which is full of miseries, he always experiences bliss because he is situated in knowledge. It's called transcendental knowledge. And it is not some blind belief. So, going back to that previous verse, we will see what Krishna is trying to tell us. He says, in every language, there are only three persons. In every language, according to grammar, there are only three persons. Do you want to tell us in English? There are three persons. What are they?
Me. You,
I, yes, I, you.
we.
We includes I again. They. Right? Three persons. And it applies not only in English, in every language, even in Sanskrit. So, three persons. Krishna is saying, and every being, every living being can be included in those three categories. Is that true or not? They means they, everybody. Right? So, Krishna is saying, he's including everybody. You may say, I was not there. You're already included in the word they. So he's saying, I, you, and they all. We all existed in the past. We are existing now. And we will continue to exist in the future. So the most fearful thing in this world is that, we are going to die. We're going to die in 20 years, or we're going to die anytime. That is the most fearful thing. But one who is in knowledge, a sober person is not bewildered by such a change. In the next verse we have seen the translation. One who is in knowledge is not bewildered at all. Is not afraid of death. Is not afraid of, if a person is not afraid of death, what else can he be afraid of? Because the death is the most fearful thing in this world. If a person can be not bewildered at the time of death, then that means he is not bewildered in any circumstances. Although this place is full of miseries, just like in the hospital. In the hospital, generally we cannot expect to see very healthy people in the hospital. They're all patients, right? But there are some other category of people who are also in the hospital who are opposite to the patients? Who are they? The doctors. See, they are living in the same hospital, although we cannot expect any healthy person to live in the hospital. The doctors live in the hospital very happily among so many viruses, so many different people will come with so many contagious diseases, but still they remain healthy somehow or other. They have a vaccine, proof. They have some protection. This protection is the knowledge. So Krishna is saying that we all existed in the past as individuals. It's not that sometimes people believe that, oh, after death or after liberation we will cease to exist. Will be nothing. All we have to do is we have to do everything in this lifetime. After death, that's it. Everything is finished. Nothing is there to do, but that's not a fact. People may think that we are our minds. It is a mind that is. No, that is also not a fact. As in the previous example, we have seen that the soul is passing on from boyhood to youth to old age, but the bodies are changing so much so that we cannot even recognize. Similarly, our minds are also changing. Is that true or not? When you are like 1 year or 2 years old, what was your mindset? What are the functions of the mind? Thinking, feeling, and willing. And what did you do when you were like 1 or 2 years old? You always thought about how to build castles in the sand, and if somebody breaks it, you'll cry day and night. You'll cry if your father doesn't give you a chocolate day and night, or crazy things. Can you imagine that you did all these things when you were a child? No. We have a different mindset now. The same functions of the mind, thinking, feeling, and willing are completely different. Is that true or not?
Yeah.
So even the minds are changing. Even the subtle bodies are changing. But we say we are the same person. Our mother confirms that you are this person and you are the same son of mine. You're the same person. Well, how can you? Who is remaining the same then? It's the soul which is remaining the same. Everything else is changing. Some people argue it is the DNA that is a living force. Not really. It's not. We are not chemicals. We are not just some bunch of chemicals. There is something. How can chemicals have some emotions? Or they may say we are building up some artificial AI, and robots have some emotions, this and that. Well, not really. If it is so, if we are only some bunch of chemicals, we are so much advanced in scientific knowledge, can we even produce a small life form? For example, egg. Egg is nothing but a shell, white shell, and outer layer is white chemical substance. For example, let us assume it is just a white chemical substance, and inside that there is yellow chemical substance. So easy, right? We are so advanced. We are even going to the moon planet. Can we make a small egg without the help of the chicken? Obviously. From the chemical. I will give you an egg. You can get all the ingredients. How much protein is there, how much potassium, how much calcium, how much sodium, how much iron, how much this. Generally when we go and buy an egg from the market, they give you all the nutritional facts. So much potassium, so much iron, so much sodium, so much this. Oh, all right. You got all the nutrients? You note it down. Please note it down. I'll give you the original egg laid by the chicken. You note down all the components of the egg, and you go to the laboratory, buy some iron from the market, buy from calcium, potassium. Can we make an egg that will hatch into a chicken? That is the main thing. You can, just like we have artificial flowers. Anybody can make a flower that looks like exactly like a rose, but does it give fragrance? That is a question. You can make an artificial egg. Does it hatch into a chicken? We are going on thinking that we can do anything, but we cannot even produce a single chicken egg, because life cannot be created. Life cannot be put in. The soul that is in the chicken egg cannot be given by you. You cannot manufactured the soul in the laboratory. Why then the scientists are given Nobel Prizes? The chicken should be given a Nobel Prize. Yeah? That's what Prabhupada said. Why are we giving Nobel Prizes to all these people who cannot even create an egg? The chicken, look at chicken. Every day, chicken lays one egg. And he should get so many Nobel Prizes. She should get so many Nobel Prizes.
Yeah.
So, and Krishna says, and those who think that, we all will merge. Some people they are above such atheistic people. They believe that there is some soul, but they do not know that they will remain as individuals even after death. It's not that all the souls will come together and merge something and become a bunch of souls, a bunch of spirit, something like that. No, we will remain as individuals. Although your soul, actually it is wrong to say your soul, because you are the soul and you have a body. We are that, we should identify with that souls. Theoretically, I am not self-realized at all, for your information. This is only theoretical knowledge. Even the theoretical knowledge, transcendental knowledge, can relieve us from so much ocean of material sufferings. And every step we make towards realization, every step is a dance. So, where was I? The souls, they do not merge. Each and every soul has the same exact characteristics, but they are not the same. Every soul is individual, unique. For example, we all know what are our bodies made up of? Do you have any idea? Even if you are wrong, that's okay. Because even if somebody is correct, we don't give them any prizes. Huh?
Mostly water.
Water, and there are some other things. Water and earth. We can
Earth, water,
put
fire.
blood and bones into earth category.
Earth,
right?
water, fire.
Earth,
Yeah.
water, fire, air, ether. All
Elements.
these elements. Your body is made up of that, right? What do you think my body is made up of? Some other ingredients? So same ingredient. Your body, sir? Yeah, no? Extra thing? Everybody is made up of the same exact ingredients, right? But is every body different from others or no?
Yes.
Right? All of our bodies are made up of the same exact ingredients, but they are individuals. Even the bodies are individuals. We identify with a certain name to the body. Actually, the names are given to the body because we cannot even see the soul. So everybody is different, and everybody in the security, if somebody gives a fingerprints in the security, and if I say, well, his body is made up of earth, water, fire, and ether. My body is made up of earth, water, fire, and ether. Why can't I? It's the same thing, saying with fingerprints. No. Every person has their own fingerprints, has their own structure of the body. Unique, completely unique. So similarly, although the soul has the same exact characteristics, the soul is also completely different from one another. They are unique. Right? And do we have time? Okay. Yeah, so that concept is wrong, that we will all merge together as the spirit souls, will become one. That is also wrong. We will remain as individuals even after liberation. What is liberation? There is also a misconception. Actually, not, there is a saying, there is a statement in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. There is a statement spoken by our Lordship, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunai Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Kare Udaya. It's not that we have to gain anything more. The soul is completely full of knowledge. The real self-realization means what we are trying to do is we are trying to remove our misconceptions. We have just accumulated a bunch of dust on our identity. that we cannot even see ourselves. All this process is nothing addition, because the soul is completely pure. Avritam gnanametena gnanino nitya vairina. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, Gnani, the soul is already a Gnani. Gnani means one who is completely full of all knowledge. But we have accumulated so many misconceptions that we have started identifying ourselves with something else. So the self-realization process is not to add anything, but to remove one by one all of our misconceptions. Self-realization is nothing addition, adding something, but to remove all the misconceptions. So the soul is full of knowledge, and we are just trying to remove all these misconceptions that we have this body, we will merge, we are individuals, we will remain as individuals even after death, even after liberation. That's all I want to say. Unless somebody wants make any comment or question, anything.
Any additions, questions, comments? We have lots of people online.
Yeah, please.
If online, anyone would like to ask?
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Today's class. So you say we always stay individual, but sometimes I hear about this Brahman realization where you become one with Brahman. What is that?
It is just like a green bird very swiftly rushes into a green tree full of green leaves. And for a person who is looking at the scene from a far distance, you'd see that, where is the bird now? When the green bird rushes and enters into a green tree with all green flowers, green branches, green leaves, it appears that the bird itself has vanished, or it has merged into the green tree. But one who is close enough to the tree, you understand, right? It is sitting on the sitting on one of the branches and eating a green apple. That is also out of ignorance, people think like that. Or they cannot really see as it is. They cannot see things as they are. Because otherwise there is no merging. Every person remains an individual, whether we accept it or do not accept it. We should always understand the fact is, whatever is a fact is a fact. It's not that by our popular vote it will change. It's not that all of us put together we will vote against something that it will change. No. It's not like our democracy. If you don't like the president, we will change the president. We cannot change God. We cannot change whatever is a fact. Whatever is a fact is a fact. It will remain a fact forever, whether we believe it or do not believe it. But if we accept the truth, our lives we will become perfect. We will be happy if we accept the truth. And it all makes sense. So I request all of you, please take Bhagavad Gita from us. We have thousands of books and so many other books, not just Bhagavad Gita. We request you to take these books and read them and make your life perfect. Thank you so much. That's it. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.